Government and civil groups help Hualien's quake victims get back on their feet a month after the disaster. Yangmingshan Elementary School students cultivate plants to develop school individuality. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. We begin our program today with some updates on earthquake victims in Hualien. A month has passed since Hualien was struck by a massive earthquake. Many affected residents still cannot return home. The county government is planning to build permanent housing and offer other subsidies. In addition, Travel Agent Association has organized volunteer tour groups to help with Hualien's recovery. A month has passed since Hualien was struck by a massive earthquake. Many of the residents who have been displaced can only live in B&B for the time being.
我们住楼上也是9000，
所以他就暂时先让你住这，
对，
然后都是9000，
一样。我们3号就
他会住到半年的时间，
他们可以2年。
我们是住1年，新签约1年。
The county government has 2 plans for settling the affected residents.
我们会在14个月内。
We will finish building the permanent housing in 14 months. If the residents choose to find land and rebuild or buy another house, we will buy their land according to the tender price announced by the Public Construction Commission, which is about $3,667 per paying.
Besides the subsidies provided by the government, the members of Travel Agent Association of ROC has also organized volunteer tour groups to help the earthquake victims.
Taiwanese people are full of love. When you ask them, let's go volunteer to help them, everyone supported the cause really. Therefore, I initiated this activity, hoping to help other travel agents.
To revive tourism in Hualien, local hotel owners are also making films, asking people to come stay in Hualien to help Hualien. In addition, the General Association of Chinese Culture has also initiated an activity asking famous people to make films promoting Hualien.
玉里的面，瑞穗的 Yuli's noodle, the hot springs in Reisui, and the people here. In addition, there's blue sky and white clouds. Let's all support Hualien. Keep on fighting Hualien.
让我们一起当花莲的靠山，花莲加油！加油！加油！加油！
In a related story, the Hualien earthquake collapsed 4 buildings, leading 195 households to lose their homes. It led to 17 deaths and 295 people injured in one night. A month after the disaster, we'll take you to see how these 2 affected residents soothe their pain and get back on their feet.
Piling up the stones after the earthquake, Huang Jinggui works in a recycling company, but he's also an earthquake victim because he lost his house at the Platinum Twin Star building, which collapsed in one night.
That house was the savings from me and my wife's hard work for 10 years. We can finally pay the down payment. But that's the reality. Just a blink of an eye and everything is gone.
There are some ways we can still cut this, but this debris we can't do anything about it, so we need to throw them away.
All these destroyed stone are from the affected factory, and the cleaning work still can't be finished since the earthquake a month ago. Huang Jinggui being an earthquake victim himself, but he still returns to the company to put his efforts in disaster relief.
When we still have the ability to help others, we can put down some of our own problems.
We are trying to clean out this debris as soon as possible so that everyone can feel more refreshed and continue to work hard to get back on track.
The local government found them a temporary shelter at a hotel the day before the Lunar New Year Eve, and Huang Jinggui's wife has also lost her job at the Platinum Twin Star building guard, leaving him to be the only source of income in the family.
I would be lying if I say I'm not upset, but I feel we should face the difficulties. We found a smaller apartment, so we rent it. I believe that we can still survive.
Wang Shouquan and his family lived in one of the collapsed buildings, and now they live in a temporary shelter his boss provided in the factory.
都还好。桃竹台风从我们这个北清水溪，溃堤
整个水量就从这边冲过来。
The manager of the farm used to be an affected resident of Typhoon Toraji, hence he can understand his employee's situation. He offered assistance right away and guided Wang Shouquan to ease his sadness through work.
We feel sorry deep in our heart when we see the earthquake victims, so we want to help them to settle down their families.
Other than the disaster relief work, residents started their own SOS committee to handle the reconstruction issues after the earthquake.
赈灾自救会就是成立啊，现在是说啊，大家怎么再去挑选哦，看几位想要出来当委员。
Holding the child's hand tightly and step forward their future, they are gradually getting back on track a month after the earthquake.
拜拜。 事发过后到现在来讲，
Since the earthquake, it's been a month, and I want to get back to my normal life as soon as possible. That's what everyone wants, getting back the life we used to have.
Wang Shouquan and Huang Jingui saw their home destroyed by the earthquake, but their hearts are still strong and tough, and they will continue to work hard to rebuild their home.
我觉得说，我只要肯做。
I believe as long as I'm willing to put in effort, we can all get our life back. I have a strong will, and I hope I can really do it.
In Thailand, Chinese language ability has also become one of the prerequisites for pursuing education or seeking employment. To promote Chinese teaching, Chinese culture, as well as the concept of great love, Tzu Chi has established a Jingzi Chinese Academy at Chiang Mai Tzu Chi School. It is hoped that the academy can become a platform for teachers' training and for students to learn Chinese in northern Thailand.
On the day when the plaque unveiling of the Jingzi Chinese Academy was held, representatives from all walks of life in Taiwan and Bangkok, Thailand, gathered to celebrate the occasion.
Besides improving students' Chinese proficiency and reinforcing the understanding of Chinese culture, the Jingzi Chinese Academy also attracts more Thai people to know more about Taiwan and Tzu Chi.
This academy has become a very important base for nurturing Chinese professionals in northern Thailand. It is also the most important place where we can spread Tzu Chi's great love, spirit, and philosophy.
12th graders of the Chiang Mai Tzu Chi School livened up the event with lion dance performances. The CEO of Tzu Chi Foundation mentioned that establishing the Chinese Academy has been Master Zheng Yan's wish for many years, and he is thankful to the support of Thai government's education unit.
At our Chinese Academy, there are not only the Tzu Chi School, Tzu Chi University, Tzu Chi Institute of Technology, but also Tzu Chi High School and Elementary School. In addition, we also provide humanitarian education. We have DaAi TV and DaAi Radio, so we can fully support the development of Chinese Academy.
If every school can strengthen students' ability to communicate in both English and Chinese, then it will be very helpful to their work in the future.
The Jingzi Chinese Academy will combine the mission of nurturing talent and spreading great love. Many people expect that it can become a platform for Chinese education in northern Thailand.
Tzu Chi Thailand chapter recently hosted a free clinic for refugees. Each month, such an event is not only attended by Tima doctors and nurses, but also a number of local doctors who volunteer their services. A couple has joined the ranks of volunteer doctors, and now even a whole family has gotten involved as their daughters help patients register for the medical service.
This female doctor carefully examining this refugee woman is Natane. From the Ra Kam Hang Hospital in Bangkok, she learned about Tzu Chi's free clinic from the internet and invited her daughter and husband to help.
Many refugee patients have chronic diseases and need long-term medication. Tzu Chi's medical services are helping reduce their burden, and I'm also very happy to help with my services.
And this couple, one is an ophthalmologist and one is a surgeon. By participating in this free clinic, they are sharing their compassion with others.
I always think I should take part of the responsibility of caring for these refugees. I used to do this when I was a young man.
Aside from this free clinic, many people lined up to receive haircuts. From the start of this monthly free clinic in August 2016, many enthusiastic barbers and hairdressers have joined.
I want to help these refugees because it's hard for them to get this service. I'm very willing to bring my students here to help others.
Barbers are also able to practice and learn, as this type of volunteer service allows them to practice their craft.
I feel happy I am here. I can to be useful for the people like myself.
Martin says that using his skill to help others is the happiest thing that he has done for those living in his hometown, as he remains committed to performing this service.
In order to rescue the Formosan landlocked salmon, the Sheba National Park has undertaken reforestation as well as demolition of dams to rehabilitate this natural habitat. One of the most successful actions was the partial demolition of a dam on the Chijawan Creek. This created a 10-meter passage for the salmon to travel upstream. It was the first such action of its type in Taiwan, allowing salmon to go upstream to breed. This is Chijawan Creek, which is the main habitat of national treasure, the Formosan landlocked salmon. After the demolition of a dam, the river has been restored to a very primitive state. It has also attracted many foreign researchers who often come here to survey the conditions.
It's a kind of a beautiful river, and there is no river like this in my country.
In my country, there are some rivers, but in each kind of river, the shape is different.
In the case of Taiwan, it's very special to eliminate the dam. In many foreign countries, they have researched the impact on the soil and the river. We need to conduct this type of study in Taiwan to assess the impact on the mountains.
In front of us, Chijawan Creek meanders gently with the plains next to it, making it hard to imagine what it looked like in the past. In 2011, a landslide above the #1 dam occurred, leaving the Formosan landlocked salmon no way to go upstream, which severely limited their habitat, preventing them from spawning. To rescue this precious salmon species, Sheba National Park launched a project to revive the river and improve the habitat.
The demolition of the dam has yielded good results. When we created a gap, though it hadn't finished construction, it immediately started to swim upstream.
Now the waters of the Chijawan Creek flow smoothly, and looking down one can see the area where part of the dam was removed.
We probably removed some 20 meters of the dam, and the width is about 7 to 8 meters. Both sides of the dam, there are some holes where water pools where they can hide. From downstream to upstream, this is 5 kilometers of unobstructed passage, becoming the main habitat for the Formosa landlocked salmon.
The dynamic adjustment after this upper dam demolition is quite large. In the past, they did not record much information regarding dam demolition. For Chijawan Creek, we made careful records both before and after, which drew the attention of international researchers.
The continued progress of human civilization has left many species facing the crisis of extinction. The Formosan landlocked salmon is just one incident. In the face of severe habitat destruction and catastrophic climate change, forests will dwindle, leading to a continuous deterioration of water quality. Still, some are working very hard to prevent this from happening.
Hualien Farm is in transition because of the Formosa landlocked salmon, as this place is now considered a breeding ground, which will lead to reforestation and potentially even the development of tourism.
Agreement business work together to support the national park system. This includes police, administration, construction, and soil conservation. This is all important to the operation of the national park.
After 20 years of effort, the Formosan landlocked salmon is thriving. While it began with just a dream to restore this species on the brink of extinction, these successful efforts are not only changing Chijawan Creek, but also the overall Hualien area.
6 schools in Taipei have formed an alliance to promote more cooperation, as well as individual characteristics of each school. 2 years ago, Yangmingshan Elementary School has a unique ecology as it began cultivating plants that could be used to dye clothing and fabric. Similarly, about 10 years ago, the school invited students to grow Chinese yam, teaching them to become organic farmers.
很重吗？
这石头吧。
所以确定是山药。
确定是山药。
This giant Chinese yam is held by the student on this overcast day. He is in this garden digging up this yam, which are the fruits of nearly a year's worth of effort.
I spent almost 9 to 12 months raising it. Yes, it is like giving birth to a child. Yes, this work is very hard and you have to do weeding, which can be hard and very tiring.
This hand-grown Chinese yam is being mixed with a red bean filling to create a delicious cake developed by this female teacher. This is all part of an ecological course giving students insight into nature.
这样要染多久
？3到5分钟。
This course in dyeing clothes involves these 4th graders who are experiencing it for the first time.
是用那个植物的那个来染的，可以自己体验做衣服的感觉。
This white cloth is bound and then put into a cylinder and dropped into a dye. It is later hung to dry, creating these attractive patterns and stripes. When wearing these clothes, it feels very light and cool.
师资跨校合作。
Teachers are cooperating with different schools, and we develop our own unique blue dye products.
Through this dye workshop, they are able to make these items. Our idea was to allow these children to have the opportunity to learn these techniques of our ancestors.
Using Yangmingshan plants to create this natural dye, which is then used to print textiles, passes on the cultural legacy of ancestors. Through the help of teachers and cooperation across schools, many students are learning that nature is actually like a big classroom.
In our continuing series about devoted women who brought love and warmth to people in need, today we meet Lu Jingyan, who serves as a volunteer at Caotun Psychiatric Center's Chill-Out Villa. The villa is the first addiction treatment community in Taiwan, which adopts drug addicts and uses community life instead of medication to treat residents. Let's see how Lu Jingyan changed the life of drug addicts with love.
自从接触毒品，可能失去蛮多东西的。因为我们跟他有没有血缘关系，给我们关心，就是其实也给我们很多自信心。上奶奶吧。
弄平均一点，圆圆的，好，圆圆的。
I grew up in a single-parent family. I made some mistakes in the past and was referred here by the court.
The youth, which most people think should be full of colorful memories, but for teenagers who have been addicted to drugs, it's a dust-covered memory.
People who once took drugs may lose their confidence. Other people may look at us in a peculiar way.
对，你看这一个就做得很漂亮。
While looking for the road to rebirth, the mass volunteer Lu Jingyan.
说实在，我是第一次接触。
Actually, it was my first time to have contact with people with tattoos. Because I never met someone like this, I felt scared.
心里会怕怕的。
6 years ago, when Lu first came to this drug addiction treatment center, she feels anxious, but soon the feeling completely vanished as she has changed her mindset.
我告诉我自己，
I always tell myself that there are children who need to be taken care of.
需要关怀的孩子。小心啊，就是要很快的速度，不然等一下硬掉了就不好做了。
Lu Jingyan teaches cooking once a week, but she almost regards here as her second home.
When we encounter any difficulty, she may come to help us with great passion. Whether it is at night or on typhoon days, she still comes to help.
After a coronary stent was put into her heart, she came immediately to us without taking a long rest.
Lu retired as a government official, and her 2 sons have become adults and have their own careers. She can actually enjoy the rest of her life, but she chose to do something meaningful.
我带10个孩子出去当服务人员哈。那些
I brought 10 children to serve at a cooking contest. They looked at me and said, "Teacher, is it possible that we can stand on a stage in the future just like you?" They looked very cute at that moment. I'll never forget their faces and expressions. It left a deep impression on me. I then told them, "Boys, you can make it."
很深的感触，我说孩子，你们做得到的。
Taotuan Psychiatric Center's Tielao Villa has been established for 10 years and is the only addiction treatments community in Taiwan.
他用他亲身的这种身教。
Teacher Lu uses her personal experience as an example for children to follow.
老师，你还会在这里一直教下去吗？
哎，只要我走得动，走得动，我就会在这里。
如果我真的在外面开店的，我一定会跟你讲。
好，那我一定亲自去祝贺。
1 to 2 years of interaction may change the life of drug addicts. Although residents of this community constantly change, Liu will never change her enthusiasm for teaching people in need.
In our previous reports, we met a 92-year-old grandmother who has to take care of a visually impaired son and also a mentally challenged grandson. She made ends meet by growing vegetables and selling recyclables. After the news was broadcast, many people came forward to help her, including city volunteers. The grandmother said that she could support her family alone, so she does not need everyone's help, but she appreciates the love from the public.
A kind person sent over 2 bags of rice. Someone also said he'll install a water heater for this family for free. There are also people who want to cook free dinner for this family or give this family daily goods. These acts of love allow the girls to feel the love from society.
We want to thank everyone's help and care.
The 90-year-old grandmother has to look after her son who is visually impaired and her grandson who is physically and mentally challenged by making pickled vegetables, burning firewood, and selling recyclables.
Speaking about donating rice or other goods, we'll certainly give them to her and see if she needs other things.
Because the grandma has a house and farmland from the ancestors, she cannot apply for any low-income assistance. However, she receives the old farmers' financial assistance and disability welfare on a regular basis.
She now receives $444 in disability welfare every month.
The local district office introduced her grandson to do part-time work in a nearby factory. He doesn't earn much there, but the grandma feels content. She is a little embarrassed at the assistance from the public.
It's enough for us to get by. We can't help other people, so how can we receive help? My grandson has grown up. The life was tough when he was little, but we didn't ask for help.
The grandma really appreciates help from all the strangers. She is satisfied with her down-to-earth life every day.
In California of the United States, Irvine City Academy has held a sports meet to celebrate the school's 20th anniversary. What is unique about the event is that it was organized by the parents. We'll leave you with these images at the end of our program. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.